Today we have Dr. Rainer Kurz from Germany. He started the initiative Jobs for Refugees, for which he was received honoured with an award for successfully placing academic refugees into qualified jobs. Jobs for Refugees is a cooperative of several non-profit organisations and the German internet marketplace, Freelance Market, Germany, which provides the refugee job matching. The German experience could also be applied in Australia, as the Australian twin marketplace, www.freelance/market.com.au, is also willing to endeavour in a similar initiative if suitable cooperative partners can be found.
Thank you very much. Yes, so as mentioned, I'm from Stuttgart, Germany, but 3 months of the year I'm here in Australia, and I do this for 60 years. You might say this is a lifestyle choice. Actually, German winters are against human rights, and I am a climate refugee. Today I will speak about refugees who don't have this type of lifestyle choices, people who have to leave because they are persecuted, because there is civil war, because it's just unhealthy to stay where we are. I will speak about how the refugee crisis especially happened in the year 2015. I will speak about what the issues are of the refugees. I will explain how different people are helping. I will then focus on the area of jobs and the needs for refugees also to get decent employment, how I started an initiative about it, and then I will discuss with you briefly if we could do a similar thing in Australia. So let me start first. Yes. With what happened in the year 2015. United Nations has a program to feed refugees in their refugee camps. And that's a budget of about, I think, 400 million US dollars a year. United Nations. And in 2015, some of the member countries didn't pay in money, and they were short of money for the food program. The result was that the refugees in the refugee camps were hungry. That's simple, and a lot of people started to leave their refugee camps in areas like Jordan, for example, and we made the way via the Balkan route. And the Balkan route, as you might know, in 2015 started by Turkey, which also has many refugees, then setting over by little ships, just to some Mediterranean islands like Lesbos, and only about 2-3 kilometers distance, very easy. And then the Greek authorities said, what do we do with all these refugees? So we just provided ferries and buses to bring them to the border, to Macedonia. We overran the border. The Macedonian authorities realized these refugees actually don't want to stay in Macedonia. So we just provided them transportation to the border of Serbia. The Serbs pretty much did the same, moved them to Hungary and later to Croatia. And then from there, via Austria, many ended up in Germany. And on this graph, you can see where the refugees come from and where we are ending up. And let's first start a little bit about where refugee came from. Number one here is Syria, which is obviously the country which started pretty much movement. But while these people were all moving, a lot of other people joined. Number two is Kosovo. Kosovo is already an example of a country which is in the Balkan. Syrian refugees have a likelihood of being accepted by the German government, at least at that time, from nearly 100%. People from areas like Kosovo or later come to Albania, it's about 1% likelihood to be accepted. Number three, Afghanistan, also a classical refugee country with relatively high acceptance by the governments. And then Albania, I mentioned, so one of the countries of the Balkan. Then we have Iraq, also a country which there are good reasons to be a refugee from. And then we end up with the country Eritrea. So that's an example for an African country, because there's also some other routes via the Mediterranean. And Serbia, another example for Balkan. We have Pakistan, Ukraine as well, and like also Poland actually takes quite a number of Ukrainian refugees, for example. And then Nigeria, again, a country of Africa. So this is pretty much how the refugees are composed of, and some of these refugees are accepted easily, others are not so much accepted. Some are seen more as economic refugees. So where did these refugees go to? You can see the red bar, which basically shows the numbers. This is just the situation in 2015, and to be more precise, actually the second half of 2015, where most actually happened. And you see by far the biggest is Germany. It ended up, now the calculation is finished, about 850,000 people came to Germany just in half of the year. But you see, also other countries had their share. And Germany actually was not number one in terms of refugee per population. When you, for example, look at Sweden, we actually took more per population than Germany or Hungary. Or, for example, when you compare Sweden with France, the numbers look similar, but Sweden is about 8 million people and France is about 70 million people. So the contributions of different countries are quite different. So that's a little bit about the situation, which is of course an issue of the European Union, because there are common borders and everything should be managed internally, but not all the countries do what actually was agreed on. But let me quickly move on. Now this crisis actually is a fantastic opportunity for a country. Here, I put up some examples of people who became successful when being in exile. So I don't speak about refugees who are already successful in their home country. I don't speak about people like Albert Einstein, who became a refugee from Germany to the United States, but he was already a successful person at that time. Now I speak about these great people here, and let me just pick out two people. One is Harry Gubov, which you might know. He's the founder of Meriton. He came as a refugee to Australia. He actually didn't cost much money to the country because he's a big taxpayer. He didn't take away jobs. He created many jobs. And even, he didn't take away living space. He built 55,000 apartments. This is the type of refugees. Just a handful of this type of refugees actually make the whole refugee situation to become a positive business case. One extreme example is Steve Jobs, who originates from Homs in Syria. He was not a refugee, I must admit, he was adopted, so we call this like a migrant, but yeah, he comes from Homs in Syria, and the value of his company Apple would pay 90 years of the US refugee admission program. So just one Steve Jobs pays 90 years of refugee program, and there are great examples. And when I look back on the story of Harry Gubov, he came to Sydney and he worked first as a taxi driver before he started his business. The question is, why did this happen? Now, working as a taxi driver certainly is a great experience which you might use later in life, but such people don't need to drive taxis for years. The average taxi driver in Australia is better educated than the average Australian. So, these people on the list, they will make it, no doubt. The question is only, how long does it take? And maybe we could make them successful a little bit quicker. And this is when I started the initiative Jobs for Refugees. And it's a cooperation of 3 organizations. One is the Junior Business Team, which is a student business consultancy, works non-for-profit. The other one is Asian House, which is an association for Asian people in my city, Stuttgart. The president himself, he is from Vietnam. Vietnam is a fantastic example of successful refugees. Many Vietnamese came as boat people, illiterate, and now in Germany, the Vietnamese ethnicity are the people who do the best high school diploma of all in Germany. So, fantastic examples, and also a lot of former refugees who are now established. They are helping in the initiative Just to Give Back. And the third thing is Freelance Market, which is my company, and I will speak a little bit about that. So, yeah, something about me. Now, I founded the company Freelance Market in 2004 as a marketplace to match freelancers with clients. It's a for-profit business. Somehow I have to also make a living. But I'm active in non-for-profit activities for nearly 20 years. Being active in Esperanto, which is the international language, which also works for worldwide communication without barriers, and with a couple of initiatives in this area. And the Jobs for Refugees is now the initiative which I started late 2015, as soon as I saw the crisis coming, and I realized I'm just at the right spot to really help in this area. It's like my country was shouting for me, because I just happened to be at the right spot at the right time, and explain it a little bit further. So, a little bit about Freelance Market. I started that in 2004. It's a marketplace which has freelancers of all different industries, from accountant to web designer. And I have licensees in different countries. So Germany I do myself, but I also have a licensee in Australia, freelancemarket.com.au, which means, and I will explain this a little bit later, like what we did in Germany can be also done in Australia, if I have enough support here. So, a little bit about the junior business team. That's a business consultancy of students. There is a university in Stuttgart which is specialized on MBAs. We have really good people who study business. And a lot of these young MBA students, they want to become a business consultant, which is quite nice because I'm also a business consultant. I worked 6 years for Gemini Consulting and McKinsey, and then I became a freelance business consultant. And as a freelancer, at that time I looked for marketplaces to find jobs, and I was not happy. That's why I started Freelance Market. So these students of junior business team in Stuttgart, they are working on consulting projects for individual clients. And I offered them to work on Jobs for Refugees, and they embraced it and did it as a non-for-profit work. Normally they take some fees from clients, and they have actually quite good contacts to the industry in Stuttgart region doing consulting projects. Everyone likes students, it's just great. But this team of 4 students were working, doing the nitty-gritty work like contacting the help organizations for refugees, finding out what's the legal situation, speaking with employers and everything. And already when we look at how the team members look like, this is how Germany looks like today. Australia is a famous migration country. Germany is, in the meantime, also a migration country. So Louis is German. His father originated from Senegal. And Tural is German with Turkish roots. And then one of the 2 Sebastian Gorti did a project with refugees before, so he has some experience on this. So, and this student team also had 2 quality managers, because these are all student business consultants, so we tried to set up a project really like a professional consultancy, which I really enjoyed, coming from a consultancy and then see how young students are trying to really do the same types of processes to do a successful project. Now, the project had, of course, a clearly defined project plan. First step is basically analyzing the situation, looking what's the legal situation. Actually, it's uncharted territory. There are some rules about how refugees can work in Germany as normal employment. Germany is really generous. A refugee which has arrived in Germany is allowed to work after 3 months. And the law has been changed a year ago, without any limitations. Before, the employer had to prove that they couldn't find a European Union citizen to fill this job, but now they just have full access like anyone else. But no one knew of the authorities. What about if these people are not just employees, if they are entrepreneurs, if they are freelancers? Uncharted territory. The authorities enjoyed giving us some paragraphs saying, okay, you have to read for yourself. But what happens when you are in uncharted territory? You just make your map yourself. Isn't it fantastic? So this is what we did, and but now we have official approval by the German authorities that the model we are doing is completely legal. The next thing is we have a database of people, and we have to fill this database. And the database is just a freelance market, so a marketplace which I created for freelancers, because freelance market is just specialized in matching people with specific skills to companies, and we just use the same mechanisms also to match qualified refugees with the companies. And when I speak with managers of companies and I ask them, do you like to recruit and employ a refugee? Pretty much everyone says yes, absolutely, and if possible, tomorrow. And there are two reasons. I think there are two reasons why the German managers really want to employ refugees. Number one is we really want to help. And number two is there is a massive shortage of skilled people in Germany. At the moment, Germany has the lowest unemployment rate ever. And that's despite East Germany is not helping the statistics, we have higher, but even including East Germany, for at least the last 40, 50 years, Germany never had such a low unemployment rate. And so there is a big shortage. German industry could actually export much more if there were enough qualified people to actually do the works and the projects and so on. So the companies are really desperate to find the people. So the manager says, yes, please, if possible tomorrow. And at the moment I need a mechanical engineer specialized on gearboxes based on plastic material, or something super specific. This is how the modern industry looks like. It's based on very specific skills, and I think Germany especially, because German industry is extremely detailed and specialized. So we need a database of refugees which is big enough. So if someone looks for a mechanical engineer who knows about gearboxes and if possible based on plastic materials, then we should find someone. So we said we need at least a good number of refugees. And only then we started to reach out to companies to offer refugees. So we have some material which we give out to the refugees and to the companies. This is for the refugees. It's bilingual, German and English. Since my target group are academic refugees, it's about 10% of the refugees. Other people help somewhere else. In Germany in total, I guess we're about 1 million Germans who are actively helping refugees by being organized in some help organizations, mostly at the local level, like refugees welcome in a certain town or in a certain suburb. And there are over 1,000 of these types of organizations, and different people help at different fields. Some help about learning languages, other help about going to the authorities, or just getting integrated, or in housing, or helping to find a place to live, and things like this. And so among all these initiatives, I just focus on the area of qualified refugees, people who have working experience in their home country, and we just had to leave. And what we just want to do is we want to continue to live a life, now even in the new guest country. So, and as these people have studied, they at least have some knowledge of English. Even if we have studied in Syria using Arabic language, we might use some textbooks based in English and things like this. So there is some understanding of English there, and at the moment these refugees are massively in German language classes. Because it turns out German language skills helps to find a job in Germany. And this is a flyer which we have just to inform the companies. So these are some examples of refugees which we have in our database. So the first refugee is a manager. He studied in Syria, MBA, and during his studies, and that's about 10 years ago, he was an exchange student to Germany. So he worked together with a German university, did his master thesis in Germany, learned some German, went back to Syria, and as the crisis started, which country is he going to? Germany, of course, because he has contacts, he knows the language, and so now he's back again in Germany and is available just, as a manager in areas like procurement. So this person here, he is an engineer, studied at Damascus University, worked for the Syrian National Bank in the IT department. Then I have one person, he worked in Syria for a construction company, overseeing construction sites in Abu Dhabi. Now, his company is not there anymore. He is now in Germany as an experienced construction site manager. And in Germany, there are many construction companies who actually do construction work in countries like Saudi Arabia. And sometimes they are struggling. There are a lot of intercultural issues. Such a person is just gold for a company who does a project in the Arabic world. I have one guy, he's a cameraman. He worked before at Afghani television. And so this is all these jewels I have in the database. And it would be a shame if these people would end up driving taxi. They are much too valuable. So this is how I get the people in the database. So what was a success? Here are some examples of projects which I have introduced to different companies. And as to the refugees, former companies. And as you can see, it's highly specialized work. This is actually also a change of mindset, which means the refugees are not these stupid people who just need help and guidance and whatever. No. The company has a problem and the refugee is the expert. The companies, they can try the refugee on a short-term project. If the refugee is performing well, they can extend the project. They can have another second project and maybe offer employment as well. So I have so far spoken about two target groups, the refugees and the German companies. I have a third target group, which is even more important. That's the general population of my country. Because in 2015, I was with welcome culture and everyone celebrating, welcoming the people at the train stations in Germany. This has somehow changed. Now we are in reality, and it costs money, housing space is limited in Germany, some refugees are causing also problems and whatever, so the mindset, the mood in Germany has changed somehow, as you might have heard in the press. So for me it's important to show also to the German population how valuable these people are and what great opportunity it is. So I'm very happy that I got a lot of press coverage reporting about my project in Germany, and even in France I got some press coverage. And today after this meeting I will give an interview with ABC Illawara. So it's always good just to actually demonstrate that these are not just troublemakers, these are really valuable people for the society. And I'm very proud that in November I received a highly prestigious award in Germany, the Demography Excellence Award, which is given out by Ernst & Young in cooperation with the German Authority for Labor. And the award normally goes to large companies. So there are 7 awards given out, and the winners were Caritas, which you might know, help organization of the Catholic Church. Daimler got an award, Coca-Cola Germany got an award, and my initiative also got an award, which makes me really proud. So now you might say, this is a fantastic thing what I did in Germany, but how does it help you? Yeah. It's good to know what good things are happening in Germany, but how does it help Australia? So I could do the same in Australia. Now we have the skills, we have the capabilities. I have a marketplace, freelance market is also in Australia, so we could do just the same. The reason why this project was successful in Germany was because I managed the project and I guided the project through all these difficulties, bottlenecks and all these things to make it successful. Together there's a lot of volunteers who are helping, but someone needs to be the project manager just to keep the momentum of a project. Now I'm here until end of March and then I'm gone. And this initiative, the ideas and the contacts which I am establishing in Australia might just fade away if I don't find a project manager. Now, just some example of the contacts which I have made in Australia. Just 10 days ago, I met for a second time Peter Chandler, who is University of Wollongong. He is the Aboriginal who had reached the highest academic level ever. He is the Pro-Vice Chancellor at University of Wollongong in the Dean, so head of a faculty. And his speciality is outreach, and he actually told me he really supports this project massively, and he told me he will get me in contact with the Office of the Premier. The thing is, why do I do this presentation? Of course, to show that the situation in Germany is not as bad as it might sometimes look like from the media. Also to give you some inspiration what you could do here, but also I hope I can find a project manager in Australia who keeps the momentum going. Actually, I have someone who is willing to manage a project, but this person needs a salary. So option one is I find money just to pay a person for the next couple of months to keep this project going. Or second option, which is the third one, which would be the German way, which is do it without any money. The whole initiative, which I did in Germany, didn't involve any money. It's just volunteers. I think the only money which was spent and it just paid out of my pocket was to send the postage for some information material which we send out to companies. So if we can find, if you know someone who is willing to be a project manager, who is experienced, and would do it without salary, that would be just fantastic. That concludes my speech, and I'm happy to hear your questions.
You obviously make money when you get a job placement.
Yes. So
that obviously helps fund them.
I make money when I place freelancers.
Yeah.
So freelance market charges money from the freelancers for introducing them to jobs. For refugees, the whole service is completely free. I actually was at a trade show, on an HR trade show, and I spoke with the person responsible by the German work authorities for placing refugees, and they have a hard time here because not all the refugees are highly qualified. About a third of the refugees who come from Afghanistan, for example, are illiterate, which is quite some challenge to introduce them to a quite advanced labor market. And he didn't like me. He said, yeah, you're just picking the cherries and like the qualified people, and he at the German labor agency, they have to deal with the rest, so to say. And when I explained to him, no, I don't do it with money, I just do it completely voluntarily, because there are other help organizations or service organizations who get money from the government to provide the service, which is certainly a valuable thing, but it's a for money activity. I do it completely for free, and then he liked me. Yeah, and he even said there is a party afterwards from the people who have stands there, and he gave me his tickets. So yeah, so just the fact that I do it completely for free, and I try to be as pure as possible. Maybe I'm too German on this. that gets me away from any doubt. So my preferred approach here would be if I find someone who would manage a project completely just voluntarily without any money involved. My second option is if you find some financial sources to pay the project manager.
So government doesn't fund any of your people?
Zero, nothing. It don't cost anyone. So it's just volunteers who do the work. The service provided by freelance market, which just opens its service for free in this case.
In that particular case, sorry, Bert,
Yeah.
do you have a bit of a changeover with your staff, you know, with the people who are volunteering and so forth?
Yeah. So when coordinating this project, the thing is we have so many people who are volunteering. Many of them actually are former refugees. So, like I mentioned, the president of the Asylhaus Stuttgart, who is Vietnamese, or people from Croatia or from Serbia or Bosnia, who are helping now because we're now well established. So, but yeah, coordinating all these helpers, that's an important role. So there's not a lack of people who will help, but someone has to coordinate.
How many refugees have you, up to date, have you put into jobs? Would you know that?
Yeah, about 20.
20.
Now my potential is much bigger because let's assume there are about 1 million refugees in Germany. The German government estimated that among the Syrians, 20% of the Syrians who came to Germany are people with an academic degree. That's not the same number for refugees from other countries. So if we assume 10% of refugees have an academic background, 10% out of 1 million, that would give a number of the potential I have. And the German statistic is that refugees who arrived 3 years ago to Germany, half of them have work, the other half don't. In Australia, it's better. My understanding is that refugees who arrived 1.5 years ago, half of them have work, the other half don't. But I think in Australia the situation is not so much having work, the thing is it the right qualification? And we already discussed yesterday that a lot of the refugees are working absolutely below their standard.
How do you provide information or teaching on the language, the local language?
Yeah. So there are so many different initiatives who are trying to do something good, and I'm just with Jobs for Refugee working on one little detail to help, because the task is big. I can't solve the whole challenges relating to refugees. What we do is we are working together with language classes, basically to find the right refugees. Because the people who are really busy and active learning German right now, these are often the people who are just nicely fitting in what we do with jobs for refugees. So the people who are listed in the database, about 1/3 speak German somehow, 2/3 only speak English but not German. So, but we can only register using these two languages because for German employers, if someone speaks Farsi or Arabic, that's not that handy for German employers. It actually turns out that about 80% of the requests is towards the refugees who speak German. So even though some Germans speak English, but for an employer it's an additional degree of complication if the whole processes in the company are based on German, and the colleagues and the communication, having someone who doesn't speak German but English makes the whole thing more complicated. So German language skills are pretty important. Does this somehow answer your
The language courses, are they sponsored by the government or are they private enterprise?
Yeah, in Germany, concerning refugees, there are two approaches. Now, the German government actually requests from the refugees to learn German. If they don't, they actually might get a reduction in their money, which is paid to them per month. So it's actually requested, which is a little bit funny because sometimes refugees are looking for classes and the classes are pretty full because there's a high demand. There are also people who are not acknowledged as refugees. They are tolerated in these people and they don't get classes, but they go to classes which are mostly organized by volunteers.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Rainer, for showing us it's